guys, it's 21 Maxwell here, and welcome to the final episode of 2017. It is our last pay-per-view, the Smackdown exclusive pay-per-view Tables, Ladders and Chairs 2017. No stairs, you don't need to worry about that. So, what we've had recently with Smackdown is Bray Wyatt's come over to add some star power. He's now the champion going into this event, but it seems to be that our main events don't seem to be drawing the ratings that we're hoping they draw. Now whether that's down to the announce team or just down to bad luck, I don't know, but we're still giving SmackDown their own pay-per-view, giving more guys an opportunity to perform in pay-per-view as well, building new stars, and letting you meet the guys that you don't normally see on the pay-per-views because of so many folk are fighting for that pay-per-view spot. So you'll see who's been kind of coming through on SmackDown. Likewise, in the last episode, you saw who's coming through on Raw. So without further ado, we'll crack on. Hopefully it's a good pay-per-view. It's building a bit towards the Royal Rumble, which is 5 weeks away. But plenty of time to build to that. And get some feuds over. So here we go, it is WWE's TLC. So we have 44,830 in attendance at the Metrodome. We start off with a video hyping the matchup between Sami Zayn and Bray Wyatt for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. A92 got the show off to a strong start, but it deserves better announcing. That's what's worrying me. But it gets the crowd off. It gets the crowd hotter as well. We all know the feud here. Sami Zayn was champion. John Cena wins it off him. Bray Wyatt wins it in a triple threat match by pinning Sami Zayn. And because of this, we have a big feud between Sami Zayn and Bray Wyatt on the SmackDown brand. So no skill improvements there. A few negatives. If it comes to worse and it's really poor with announcing, we may need to just put the same announcers on Raw and SmackDown. We have dropped Mauro Ranallo. The team is now Matt Striker leading with Booker T and Sting. So if it comes to worse, we'll just go Corey Graves, JBL and Michael Cole on SmackDown pay-per-views as well. But we'll see. So we start off the show, and it's the Vaudevillains with a promo. Simon Gotch is getting better at his gimmick. They get the crowd hotter, and the segment deserve better announcing. They're basically signalling their intentions that they're going to win back the tag team championships. So a B+, 86 there from the Vaudevillains. We get ready for this matchup coming up, which was about to have some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. And it saw the Usos defeat the American Wolves, Gallows and Anderson, and the Vaudevillains in a ladder match in 1556 when Jimmy Uso retrieved the Tag Team Championships. The Usos make the first defence of the WWE Tag Team titles. This will boost its prestige. A B-73 is okay. It's not great, it is a bit average, but we're still building some of these teams up. Aiden English suffered a simple maxillary fracture. Jimmy and Jey Uso with great chemistry. Eddie Edwards with 72, Davey Richards with an 82. Jimmy Uso 72, Jey Uso 76, Carl Anderson 73, Luke Gallows 74, 84 from Simon Gotch, and 81 from Aiden English. So good performances from the Vaudevillains. They've been built up very well. It just shows we've got a couple of good tag teams in the SmackDown tag team division, which is why we needed tag team titles in both brands. A few negatives here, low experience of the announcing quality, and the booking decisions. And Sarah Stocks lets us know about that injury, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects Aiden English going forward. Could this be the push for Simon Gotch? Next up, we've got Randy Orton issuing an open challenge. He's not really got an opponent today, so I thought, who can we give a good opportunity to? Good bit of exposure on the SmackDown brand. An A92 rated segment sees Manny Andrade get a chance against him, so interesting to see how this goes down. The announcing job was weak from Striker, and the segment deserved better announcing and colour commentary. Again, making me think if that's the perfect team, does that get an A100? Manny Andrade underperformed, but it's still a good spotlight for him to be in. Negatives here, mostly the announce team. And the matchup as well was actually really good, and about the good wrestling and a decent reaction from the audience. Randy Orton defeated Manny Andrade in 1506 by pinfall with an RKO. So B83, just giving Randy something to do, giving Andrade a good spotlight, 72 performance from the underdog, and 93 from Randy Orton. The match again deserving better announcing, no skill improvements, and negatives here. Just the announce team basically. So this is really making me consider dropping that announce team, but I think that's a decision we'll make judging on our pay-per-view. So if we get a poor rating because of that, then that's when we'll make the decision. So we'll ignore any announcing related negatives going forward for the rest of the show. Next up, we've got a backstage promo between Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss. Basically here, Emma still has that injury. I don't want to risk her defending her title just yet, so just have a six-way match. Becky can work through her injury. Charlotte's obviously going to push, and Alexa Bliss were slowly but surely phasing into the women's division, so I feel like it was a good chance to get some overness onto Alexa alongside these other two women. So a B-75, Alexa performed poorly. Again, she's got to grow in overness. And it continues the women's division storyline. Charlotte improving in acting skills. And overall, just a negative was Alexa Bliss's poor gimmick. We've stopped this apparent heel turn. She's going to remain babyface for a wee bit longer. And the match of itself did okay. It was about that had some decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. And the team of Alexa Bliss, Charlotte and Becky Lynch defeated Paige, Asuka and Io Shirai in 11:53 when Becky Lynch defeated Shirai with a hard knocks. Shirai was a weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performances, but the standard from other women is pretty high. As I say, B-74 is pretty decent. We're still building this women's revolution up. Becky slowed down by her injury, but she still got a 79. Charlotte 78. Alexa Bliss with 56. Shirai with 43. Asuka with 60. And Paige with a 76. Continues the women's division storyline. Hopefully Emma should be fighting fit 100% for the Royal Rumble. We may even have some women's matches on Smackdown, just to give her some title defences and remove any ring rust. Asuka and Becky Lynch both improving performance skills as a positive. Negatives here. Charlotte's inconsistency, Io Shirai's inconsistency, Becky for working injured, and a poor gimmick for Alexa Bliss. Next up, a little tag team matchup, and it was about that had some subpar wrestling and little heat. We had TM61 defeat the Fire of Flight, which is Neville and Tyson Kidd, in 12:30 when Shane Form defeated Tyson Kidd with a shooting star press. A C-56 really just started to build up TM61 in the last month, so this is their opportunity with the brand split and exclusive pay-per-views now that they can properly get some wins and some good exposure, so they'll certainly get over. Tyson Kidd with a 68, here to be protected. Neville with a 62, really need to find something to do with Neville. Nick Miller 45, Shane Form with a 49 performance. Tyson Kidd improving performance skills, Shane Form improving rumble skills. Overall, a good performance for them. A few negatives for Nick Miller, holding back, and the booking decisions because we had to protect Tyson Kidd, but a good bit of exposure for TM61. You can slowly but surely see a lot of the NXT talents have started to want to come up, and they're getting that opportunity now on various brands, and that's what the future is going to be. I'll speak more on developmental. I'm going to touch on it for a small bit at the end of this video. That's more so going to be covered in the next video after this, which is going to be covering the top 500 and just various things. So next up, and about that had some decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. Kenny Omega defeated Will Ospreay in 15-16 by pinfall by using underhanded tactics. Kenny Omega makes defense number 6 of the Cruiserweight title. So C plus 70 is pretty okay. We're still building these two up. But it shows that, we're not taking the Cruiserweight Championship as a joke like it has been treated in previous years. Proper world-class Cruiserweights in. And it got the crowd buzzing. Will Ospreay with 63, Kenny Omega with 66. Continues their storyline, but again, these two are going to have many battles over the next few years. Rumble and performance increase for Will Ospreay. And negatives, really just Kenny Omega's stamina. Next up, Rusev's cutting a promo on Apollo Crews. They've got a match up next. B81, just giving Ruru a good opportunity here. Negatives here, really just Rusev's low morale. And it's a fatal 4-way matchup that they're involved in that actually disappointed due to lack of storyline. But it was a superb matchup, and it saw AJ Styles defeat Shinsuke Nakamura, Apollo Crews and Rusev in 2017, when Rusev was defeated by AJ with Super Styles Clash, meaning that AJ Styles is the new Intercontinental Champion. Just felt AJ's been a strong hand, he's now 40, so really giving him an opportunity to have a championship again. So he's going to run with the IC title. I think his main event days are done, but he's still a strong hand. The B-76 is worrying. The fact that so many of that was deserving better commentary is worrying because of how good the rating of the superstars were, although you add in the lack of storyline. So Nakamura gets a 93, Crews 85, AJ Styles gets an 89, and Rusev with an 80. Apollo Crews improving performance skills. He had held the title since April, so it was a long title run for Apollo, but it's time to give him something new away from the championship. Negatives. Big penalties there for the announcing. Low morale, inconsistency of Rusev, and Nakamura inconsistency. But still a good matchup, good win for AJ Styles. Hopefully he's getting a better rating than we got. And after it, AJ Styles celebrates his victory. He comes out of it looking excellent. We get a very good B plus 87. And again, you're worrying is the weak job from all three announcers. It'd be pretty sad if they all get sacked after basically one pay-per-view that massively flopped, but we'll see. Trial and error, as they say. Next up, we've got a music video to promote Brock Lesnar. This gets an A90. Brock Lesnar is a Smackdown superstar in this, and he will be returning in the build-up for the Royal Rumble, and probably from there on into WrestleMania. Give him a good push and stuff like that. No idea who he's going to face at the moment, but just a little promo there. Get a cheap A90 rating, and yeah, happy with that. Again, announcing they're really worrying me now. Next up, we've got KO cutting a promo on Finn Balor. The winner of this matchup is the new #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. KO, for some reason, hates me. He's very unhappy, despite only missing 2 of the Grand Prix events. And he's been booked very strong, which is again confusing me why he would be unhappy. But he asked for his release. We said no. He's got another 3.5 years on his deal, so won't be going anywhere soon. B plus 86 is pretty decent. The announce team and the colour commentary actually helping a segment for once. The new #1 contender storyline advances, and Kevin Owens invents a new catchphrase, which will likely boost his ability on the microphone. So that's good to see from KO as he heads into this match with Finn Balor, which only gets an 81. Right now I'm really worried. So in about they had great heat and good wrestling. Finn Balor defeated Kevin Owens in a TLC match in 26-23 when Finn Balor retrieved the contract for a #1 contendership. So looking at this, Finn Balor win 87, KO with 74. I'm thinking this might be because of the type of matchup, which again is why I don't like doing many stipulation matches, but it's TLC, you kind of have to put one of your marquee matches as a stipulation. Continues their storyline. I think I'll have them feud for maybe another 2 weeks, and then the #1 contender moves on, which of course is Finn Balor. No skill improvements, negatives, not match style not meeting the crowd's expectations, so TLC matches probably a no-no in this. Inconsistency, KO's low morale. I think that explains why it was a 81. Just interested to know why KO's performance was so low. I can perform better if you use me matches that suits my skills. That's fair enough if Kevin Owens is saying that. And after this, Kevin Owens decides to beat down Charles Robinson at B-73. Basically my reasoning for doing this is, well, Kevin Owens I've said is unhappy. I'm going to give him like a 2-week vacation before the Rumble. Really just to cheer him up. Hopefully that improves his morale. So that's a little storyline to just say that, why he's going to get suspended on SmackDown Live next week. So, deserve better announcing. Charles Robinson was underwhelming, but a B-73 nonetheless. And just one of those segments to explain where we're going. Next up, Sami Zayn, cutting his promo before the match up with Bray Wyatt. He says he wants to become champion again. A92, the Battle of the Grand Prix storyline advances. No skill improvements, but overall, pretty happy with that. The A92. I'm a bit worried though that the announcing could be limiting all my ratings to A92s. Soon see. How will the matchup do? Don't let me down. Not amazing, not horrible, but an exceptional matchup. Bray Wyatt defeated Sami Zayn in 24:53 by pinfall via the standing senton splash. Bray Wyatt makes defense number 1, his WWE World Heavyweight title. B+84, there was a lack of psychology in display, so that's worrying. The match deserved better announcing. Sami Zayn went 93, Bray Wyatt went 96, and the battle of the Grand Prix storyline advances. Plan is to keep the title on Bray for a wee bit longer, at least going into the Rumble. Sami had a good run, but there's so many guys I feel are deserving of a championship run, and it's Bray's time. Sami improving performance skills, negatives, psychology, and the announcing. So I feel like we're probably going to drop the announcers and just have the same announcers doing every show. So I just feel like, as much as I want to keep trying different things, it's just not going to work. We've got a decent team in ECW that do their job well, but when I've been looking around and I'm looking at different companies and I'm looking at free agents and there's nobody there that's better than what we've got, it's quite worrying. So when Michael Cole goes, I'm scared. But we'll work with that just now, and I feel like Michael Cole, JBL, and Corey Graves will now be the permanent team of Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views, just so we can keep increasing our popularity. So we can build a network and go global, basically. Next up, Bray Wyatt celebrates in the ring. Again, your announced team's pretty poor, but Bray Wyatt looked good. And of course, a few negatives there. And we end the show with the number 1 contender and the champion staring down. That is your next feud going into the Rumble. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. A92, again limited by the announced team. I think there's so many 100 segments we're missing out on. Bray Wyatt looked like a real star, that's what we want to see. And end the show. So we do get a B+85, it does increase our popularity in 6 regions. It's not a horrible pay-per-view, but I set myself so many high standards that I want SmackDown to be level with Raw. I just feel like we may as well just keep the same announced team in most, because Mark Striker, is he really going to improve much more? Booker T, Sting, I'd rather, if we're going to do something, bring through Tom Phillips and hope he really improves. If not, there's one guy I've noticed in the market who I might just sign and try and send them to a development company, which again we'll talk about once we leave here. But I'll give the thumbs up, I think, to Finn Balor and, in fact not Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt and Sami Zayn. So I'll let you guys judge it how you feel that pay-per-view went, but I feel it could have been a lot better. We'll praise Kevin Owens just to get his morale up, so Bray's pleased, Sami's pleased, and Kevin Owens is pleased. So you get out of here, Bray's your champion, AJ Styles is your IC champion, the Usos are tag team champions, Kenny Omega's the cruiserweight champion, and is it Emma's your women's champion as well. So it's not horrible. I would have liked to have tried and went global there, or really close to global. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to be at the stage I'm setting the standard too high, so when our main guys retire, that's when I'm going to be worried. So she'll get fantastic reviews. That's always a good sign to see as well. How did we do on pay-per-view? 1.92. Again, I wasn't sure if I was maybe just oversaturating the market with so many shows, so it'll be a long time to another pay-per-view. We also have to bear in mind now that if I just go here, the industry is falling at 54 and 48, or the economy at 54 and the industry at 48, so that might be a factor in the pay-per-view things as well. And also that could be a factor in our shows are going to get worse because there's going to be, it's really continuing to fall. Same with in Canada, same with in Mexico, so maybe we should be looking at book shows possibly in Japan, possibly everywhere else is kind of pretty poor, but at least it's rising in the UK and in Europe as well. So we'll maybe look to do some more shows in Japan. We'll see how that goes, maybe some Beast in these specials. but that's understandable. It is what it is. Aiden English is hurt badly and it's going to sideline him, so we'll see how long that takes him out of action for. Could we have the massive rise of Simon Gotch? Rocky Romero, who requested his release, is gone. He's signed a deal with EJW. And Dave Lagana has stepped down as head booker of TNA. So this will be interesting to see how TNA goes from there. We financially can't buy them. So it'll be interesting to see who takes that position. Their main guys at the moment, Yoshitatsu, Matt Sydal, Kazarian Daniels MVP. So they've signed a good few folk in there. What I will say as well, we have signed a few companies, we have bought them over. Did dissolve a few companies, we just took all their championships, that's what I tend to do, just take all the belts. The two we bought, which we've kept as development, Lucha Underground unfortunately, and the other one, PWG. So I'm sorry, but those are the two we've taken. The plan is though, get the network, as I say 209 million, that'll drop to 200, so we'll get the network up roughly before Mania. They'll have shows on the network and then we'll just send people out there, so hopefully the whole wrestling industry can boom because of how many people will get to watch all the stuff. That's what I'm hoping will happen going forward. So we're just having a look here. Christopher Gerrard is unhappy with his push. Rocky Romero signing for BJW. The mentioning of Dave Lagana. Aiden English will check the injury. It's going to keep him out for just a month, so that's fine. He'll be back before the Rumble, so that's not too bad. And a 1.92, 5k in drug fees. I think the best way to judge how the pay-per-view did though, 14 million in pay-per-view revenue. It's not too bad when you consider it's been 2 pay-per-views this month. And hopefully from now on we can maybe limit it a little bit going forward. It's only the Rumble 1 pay-per-view show the whole of next month, and hopefully after that things will go back to the way they were before the WWE World Grand Prix. As I say, it's all different things I wanted to try out in this save. Some will work, some won't work. You just get to see how the wrestling industry is affected in a whole. But we started with 25 million at the start of this save, and the fact that I'm at 209 is good, and the network come up shortly. So Kevin still has these major morale issues, so I'm just going to give him his paid time off. I don't think I can give him unpaid time off. And a month means he'll be back just in time for the go home show before the Rumble. So there you go, Kevin. Time off has been given. Pleased, he's still very angry, but at least, you know, we'll see if he comes back with a better mindset. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. As I say, if I just quickly go to the child companies, you'll see Lucha Underground, NXT, NXT Women's, and PWG. So plenty of places there, with our only development company really being NXT. So they're free to sign who they want, and if there's anything that's really good, we can then sign them from Lucha Underground and PWG. So as always, thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. Would you do in this situation with the announced team? Would you just put it to Raw? I'm going to put the Raw team in place going forward. Maybe even bring out a small 4th show to try and train people up. But it's just one of those things. I want to get to the elite level. And as you can see, we're size. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are over the level you need to get to global. Maybe need 2 more. Or 1 more, just to be safe, with the Tri-State and Southeast would be next. So let me know what you do in that situation. Let me know what you thought of the card. Let me know what you're thinking the potential predictions to the Rumble. Who do you think could win it? And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. As I say, any likes and subscriptions are deeply appreciated as well. Remember to share the love to the rest of the TW community. So until next time, which will be a roundup of the PW500, it'll be a roundup of our champions, who's doing what, who's going to leave, going forward. That's all next episode, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye bye.